Hi guys. So I thought I'd do something a little bit interesting and a little bit different and do a collective past life reading, which I don't know how this is going to work. I suppose it'll probably work similarly to my spirit baby readings where they are a little bit more individual, less people kind of resonate with them, or potentially it might sound like I'm telling you a story with a past life reading, but kind of just take what resonates, and obviously bits of it might be for you, bits of it might be for someone else. Like, just kind of roll with it. We're going to see what comes up. I'm going to try and channel for like 10 minutes and see what happens. Maybe a little bit longer because they usually do go over, but yeah, it'd be interesting. I just wanted to do this kind of reading. I do go away tomorrow as well, so I will be posting a little bit, but I'm not doing I won't be doing collectives because obviously I'll be quite busy, and I am taking the week off ish. I'm taking like 6 days off. So we'll see what happens. Let's see how this goes. Oh goodness, I'm struggling to shuffle these cards. Like, how the hell do you shuffle circular cards? I've never actually. Oh, that's interesting. That's a blank card. So this is a deck I don't use much, so you can probably tell. But it's the Uncover Your Past Lives Oracle. So we'll see how it goes. It's quite interesting. There's a lot of information to be had from these cards. So we'll see what comes up. We'll see where Spirit guides me with it. But straight away, I am getting, oh, it's really interesting actually. I am getting probably quite a specific time frame of, I'm seeing like the 1600s, 1500s sort of timeline in terms of, oh, this is really interesting. So for this, I feel like this message is going to resonate for those that resonate with the idea of having a witch wound, or what other wounds could we talk about? Is it light workers persecution wound? You know, that kind of thing. Like, it's definitely a female energy, it's a feminine energy. It's interesting that this is coming up for the collective because this is definitely something that as a collective we work through today. Witch wounds, persecutions of light workers, divine feminine wounds. You know, let's face it, history hasn't treated us great. History hasn't treated divine feminine or women particularly well at times, and history hasn't treated light workers or energy workers very well either. So it's very interesting that this is coming about. In fact, perfect for this kind of channeling. We have got this card here, which is insanity, and that's where this is coming from, because I do feel, and we've also got magic as well, I feel like for this particular past life or collective of past lives, we're talking 1600s, 1500s. I'm not 100% sure if that's when we had the witch hunts. Correct? Like, anybody who knows history, comment below and let me know. I mean, I will probably research this after this, but it does feel like it's a bit of a witch hunt vibe. It feels like it's a bit of a collective sisterhood of witches or light workers. I don't even want to call them witches. I want to say these people are just people that might have had some channeling abilities that have been mistaken for insanity. So I do feel like some of the group that I'm picking up on might have had clairaudience and it's been mistaken for hearing voices. I feel like people in this group might have had a bit of a whimsical kind of personality, so they might have been seen as being away with the fairies. Some of these people are going to come from money. Some of you that resonate with this reading will have had a rich upbringing, so a rich background. I feel like you come from money, you've probably had an estate, or there's been, what I'm specifically seeing is a woman in a very large garden with a wildflower kind of edging around it, and she's kind of staring off looking at the wildflowers, and maybe even whispering to the bees, whispering to the birds, like just enjoying herself, just immersing in nature. And then I'm seeing two women, really well dressed women, sat at kind of a table area with a serving person next to them, all kind of wittering away and saying, what's she doing now? Like, and this girl is in a nightdress. She's not really fully dressed. She's kind of like a little bit whimsical, a little bit free spirited. and they're like, what's she doing now? It does feel like for this person, they might have had some gifts and abilities, or for this collective of people that I'm channeling, they've had gifts and abilities. We've also got some kind of things on the back here as well. Sorry, there's a lot of information in these cards, so this is why I don't really use them a lot, but it does feel like what I'm getting with this is that this person has definitely, yeah, we've got love. Under the love section, we've got affair, and we've got abandonment. And what I was gonna, where's the family part as well? Sorry about this, guys. There is an identity. It does feel like for some of these people, you might have been sacrificed or given up by your loved ones. So it could be your family members, it could be your mother, your grandparents. Grandparents is actually on the back of one of these cards, so that's quite a specific one. It could have been your partner, your husband, your wife. I'm even hearing child from spirit. So for some older generations, it could have been your kids that have like gone, no, my mum's not right, and let's get her like kind of shipped off or sent away. And that's definitely something that's happened, because I do feel like there's been a persecution. And we've got this card here with death, loss of a loved one. So it does feel like some of them had been quite clearly burnt at the stake, quite clearly murdered in a horrible kind of way for just being them and persecuted. But for others, it could have been even being sent away in some way. So you could have been sent to another, like a colony somewhere, or, you know, there's something like just shipped off somewhere. Like, I don't get institutionalized, but we do have this card here, which kind of reminds me of an institution, or doctors, or tests, or, and you know what, the time frame's actually getting broader when I look at this card, and I'm seeing more like from the 1500s to the 1800s. So we're spanning over a few hundred years now at this point. So it could be, it's definitely for a collective, is this reading. It's for a massive collective. So if you have a witch wound, if you're listening to these messages and thinking, that's like, I feel something when I'm resonating with this message, I feel something when I watch this reading, you are going to probably be asked to explore this witch wound or this persecution wound. We have got, so it's very hard to read. To be honest, I'm like, it's a great card deck, but there's so much information on them, which is brilliant for these kind of readings. We've got Wisdom Keeper, we've got Rebel, and we've got Tribe. So for some, I do feel like, okay, so I've got three little narratives playing out here. We've got some that have been murdered. We've got some that have been shipped away. We've got some that have been persecuted. We've got some that did not receive justice for this issue in these lifetimes. We've got others that were, and they were innocents, these people. They would tend to be more bordering on the innocent line. So if you feel like that's you might have something to do, some work to do around that innocence, because that innocence has been stolen by this. So you might find in this life that you are, you know, having some issues around kind of innocence being taken from you, or snatched with things, or persecuted. And I'm hearing spirit saying washing away that fear as well. So there's a big time fear around things that have involved this. You might feel very, very afraid of the potential of somebody sacrificing you. You might be afraid to speak your truth. You might be a light worker. You might be a channel. You might be afraid to say, this is who I am, in case people persecute you. So you've got lessons to learn around that. For others, those that were maybe a little bit stronger, I don't want to say stronger, because it's not like it's a, I don't mean it in a negative way, but for those that have got a little bit more personal power, or that had a little bit more of a group of people to rally around them and support them, you were kind of a rebel, and you potentially spoke out quite a lot and had your voice heard, and you shared your wisdom, you shared your secrets. You maybe even had, if you were kind of practicing witchcraft, you maybe had a little coven going. Like, you literally were a leader in these lives, but you still ended up getting some kind of persecution along the way. Maybe you were outcasted, maybe you were shunned, maybe you were kind of told leave town, like stay away, don't come back. And you kind of had a loneliness creep over you in this. So if you resonate with this portion of the reading, you might find that in this life, one of your themes to work through is feeling isolated in your abilities. If you're a light worker, if you're a witch, if you've got channeling abilities, you may feel in this life very, very isolated at times, and like people don't understand you. And that is basically from this lifetime where you were kind of shunned from society, shunned from the community. The final group we've got, which is really interesting, we've got tribe, and I'm getting big time Native American tribes. I'm getting Native American big time with this. But, I mean, this can be other groups for sure. It could be a monastery, a nunnery. It could be, I am getting tribes. I'm getting tribal. I'm getting that kind of thing, that kind of community. I'm getting nomadic life, but I'm also getting religious groups. So, nuns, potentially, monks, potentially, like a group, a convent, like, I'm getting like maybe even for some an all kind of one gendered boarding school. Like there's something there of a community and a support where you were quite revered within this community. So you were quite revered within this community. You were quite powerful. Potentially you had a powerful family. Potentially, if it was, let's go down the narrative of Native Americans. I feel like you or tribe, you were such a strong spirit and channel, and your tribe saw what you could do. They saw how powerful you are, they saw how gifted you were, and you were revered. You were put on a pedestal. You were in leadership role. You might have had high-powered family. I'm getting as well like other kind of cultural influences that are coming through. Maybe East Asian. I'm getting like a powerful family and a daughter that potentially was very powerful and strong, and she led some kind of community in teaching her gifts in some way, and her powerful family was very proud of her. So there's quite a few different cultural influences here, but the main point of this portion of the reading is to talk about what these people struggled with, and that was finances. So potentially, or whatever currency, financial abundance, materials, resources is what Spirit's saying to me. So whatever you resonate with, whether you resonate with the Native Indian narrative or maybe a monastery or whatever that is, regardless, you were a powerful, high up member of society teaching your community, leading your community with powerful backing from either your family or leaders within your community, or just your community in general. So no, you were untouchable. You were untouchable. Nobody was going to touch you. Nobody was going to persecute you, but you were cut off, or your group were cut off because of resources. And I feel like this was from others that didn't believe in your community and your culture, basically. Whatever it was, like if it is the Native American narrative, it could have been, Western settlers that have come and tried to change your views and try to change your society based around theirs, which in turn, shunned you from the rest of the world because maybe you divided yourself, maybe you distanced yourself from that and wouldn't put up with it, because you were obviously a powerful community, a gifted community is what I'm hearing from Spirit as well. And potentially that meant that you lost trading. It meant that you lost trade. It meant that you were shunned from the rest of the world. You were kind of struggled. There could have been famines involved. There's something around finances. So in this life, you are likely going to be asked to open up in some way to other avenues. It could be that you are living your purpose. You could be doing your healing work for others, but potentially you might have to open up your doors and not be so limiting when it comes to who you work with. Like maybe you need to do a more broader kind of research or on how you can draw more people into the fold and get more people kind of under your healing services. Like for me, for example, I do Pleiadian healing, and I feel like people enlisting on a spiritual journey, they don't really branch out into that healing. Like I do limit myself in that regard. Like I limit myself with my client base and who would work with me, because not everyone's going to believe in Pleiadian healing. Like people that have a more 3D, like grounded, that are more grounded in the 3D, probably aren't going to want to branch out into Pleiadian healing because they're probably not going to believe in it. Whatever, that's their life. That's fine. I'm okay with that. But for some, it might be that you need to make your services more accessible to people that are not open to spirituality. So it could be that instead of just doing like your energy work, like you might be guided to do a little bit more like kinesiology, something that's a little bit more, that's got a little bit more of backing from science. I don't, as somebody who's spiritual, it's hard for me to kind of say that, like, but at the same time, I understand that sometimes to open people up to something that's supernatural, you need to allow them a safe space to harbour first. Like you need to allow them a safe harbour, and in that regard, for some, that could be going down the routes of learning massage techniques so that they can open the doors to people that have a more 3D grounded approach to life, and then open them up spiritually gradually. Like for some reason, you are teachers, you are leaders, I'm hearing leaders of the planet, so you need to not be closed off. You need to not be closed off in your practices. You need to be able to open your doors up and let more people come in. Shepherd that herd is what I'm hearing as well. So wow, what an interesting reading for a first time doing a past life reading for the collective. Like I hope you guys got something from this. I found it very interesting. I'm not gonna lie, like I feel like I definitely probably do more of these. Let me know in the comments below like what you think, what you resonated with, and if you want to see more of these. And thanks for watching.